Let's talk about graph of the arcsine and its domain and range. As I mentioned in that video that you just watched, that we're only gonna look at this part of the circle, which is from negative pi to pi. So this is the piece that I highlighted here. This is from negative pi to pi. And so let's mention a little bit about the one-to-one function, what it's all about. So the definition of the function, each x is matched with only one y, no more than one y. And that results in a graph that no vertical line crosses twice. This is called the vertical line test. So any vertical line that you can imagine only crosses the line once, never twice. So that would mean that's by the definition of the function. Now, remember, if we invert the function, then we're gonna switch x and y. So y becomes x and x becomes y, like this. So in order for that inversion to be a function, it has to pass, the function first have to pass the horizontal line test. So let me give you another example. Let's look at the parabola. Let's look at the parabola. This is our parabola, and it passes the vertical line test. So each vertical line only crosses it once, right? So it is a function. But when we invert it, and we're gonna rotate it this way, this is what it's gonna end up like looking like this. And this is not a function anymore, because, for example, if I have an input of 2, x of 2, then the corresponding, I have two corresponding y values. I have a negative 4 and a positive 4, right? So this vertical line, it crosses the function twice, the line twice. That's why we say it's not a function, and we cannot work with it effectively because some reasons that we're not going to go into right now. But anyway, so it's not a function. So in order for the function to be invertible, it not only it has to pass the vertical line test, it also has to pass the horizontal line test, which the parabola does not. It does not. So the horizontal line crosses it twice. That's why when we flip it and this horizontal line becomes vertical line, it's not a function. So this is the called the horizontal line test for being invertible. So in order for function to be invertible, it has to pass the horizontal line test. Now, if you look at our graph of the sine function, this horizontal line, for example, it crosses the function many times, infinitely many times, because this graph continues, right, to the left and to the right. So we're going to have multiple points where the horizontal line crosses. So if we were to invert this graph, it would not be a function at all. It would not be. So that's why we're going to cut out this piece of the function, and we're only gonna look at half of the circle, right? So this piece, we're gonna invert this piece of the graph. So and look at the domain. So for this piece, we're gonna have a domain of from negative pi over 2 to pi over 2, and the range from negative 1 to positive 1. Okay, so that's for this piece only. Now we're gonna invert it. So here's the same piece, only magnified. We're looking at it closer now. And if you learned about inverse function graphs, how do you build a graph? So you draw a diagonal line, and your graph is gonna flip. It's gonna flip around that diagonal line. So this is what you get. So this is your sine. This is your inverse sine. Okay, now the X and Y flip as well. So now, now your domain becomes from -1 to 1. This is negative pi over 2, positive pi over 2. So that's our range. So the range for this function is negative pi over 2 to pi over 2.